Well, somebody asked me, Gerald, how come you're not doing videos from the desert? Well, I'll tell you why. In April, the rattlesnakes come out. I mean, the scorpions and rattlesnakes are everywhere. So here I am risking my life to do a video for you. Now, the word says we're supposed to trample on snakes and scorpions. But let me tell you, man, I have my eye out. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the ground. Make sure there's no creepy crawlers coming up to get me. So over the last few weeks, we've been talking about a lot of different things, about closed doors, about who and what, and about his plan becoming my plan. And I wrote an article and put out a video series, 3 videos that dealt with that. But Friday I recorded a podcast with a friend of mine, Benson, who is one of my best friends and really business and spiritual advisors. And we were talking about what prompts God to open the door. And one thing that him and I had been talking about is all throughout the Bible, praise is the true praise, not buttering up God praise. There's a lot of people that, they're trying to butter up God, and perhaps we've all tried it from time to time, but I would guess that God's a little bit amused by that. But he's really, when somebody tries to butter you up, when they're giving you false praise, how do you feel? I would imagine that, maybe God feels the same way. But we are talking about something called who to who, kind of like B to B, business to business, or B to C, business to consumer. Who to who. One of the greatest ways to develop true praise for God is to first really understand who he says you are. And then as you start reading through the 6,000 plus promises in the Bible, is to really understand what he has done for you. What is his character? And I have about a lot of you that I've talked to at Zoom calls and different things. I've sent you a PDF with 20 powerful scriptures, promises from God. And I've always told you, read through these and decide if you believe them. If you really believe them, all things are possible. In my journal, I have about 40 of those scriptures that I go to from time to time. And when I'm feeling a little bit dry or unsure, or things aren't working out the way I planned it, and I'm wondering, God, was that really you that I heard from? I start going through those scriptures. And I'm telling you, when I go through these promises, I am so thankful for who God is. And I'm also so thankful for God, who God says I am, and that I get to be the recipient of those promises. One thing I want to talk about moving forward, I'm going to release the podcast this week that Benson and I did, Who to Who. I'm going to write an article that talks a little bit about that. But I also want to deal with our focus. Because I guarantee you, when God opens that door for you, right on the other side of that door, you're going to find a giant. And a lot of people have gone through open doors, and because they weren't prepared, because they didn't know who they were, and they didn't know who God was, they really didn't, because they haven't spent enough time in the Word to become convinced and build a faith. As soon as they made a couple of attempts at the giant, when the giant didn't move, they turned around and headed right back to their Egypt. And I know so many people. I know entrepreneurs, I know people in ministry, I know pastors that God has given them a new season, a new wineskin, and they're trying to take that old wine into the new, they're trying to take new wine into the old wineskin, and it just doesn't work. You need a new wineskin to hold new wine. So I'm going to talk about our focus, and really taking our focus off ourselves and putting our focus on what God wants and what he is doing. And really, I'm going to get into the study of Abraham and some other faith giants throughout the scriptures who got into the same predicament. God gave them assignment, and when things didn't happen the way they thought they should happen, when they ran into unexpected giants, a lot of times they took matters into their own hands, and sometimes they retreated. So that's what the topic is moving forward. It's as God opens the door and you start running into these giants, what do you do? You know, in every assignment that God has given me, whether it's a business or ministry, to me, these days, they're kind of intertwined. God has shown me how to connect the dots between business, purpose, success, and faith, but he gives me some huge projects. And, one of the huge projects we're working on right now is our entrepreneur zones. And we're going into different cities and focusing on building physical entrepreneur zones in churches in those cities and building small town entrepreneur zones in the small towns that surround those cities. And it's a big project we're working on. We've partnered with a lot of different people to do it. We're getting ready to produce a YouTube show about it. And we're doing home makeovers, business makeovers, and faith makeovers in these small towns. It's going to be really amazing. But I can tell you, I know, and I already have run into all kinds of obstacles. So what I can't do is I can't focus on me trying to do it on my own ability or my own resources. I have to take the focus off me and I have to put it on God, and I have to say, okay, God, what do you want to do? And I have to know with 100% confidence that he is able to do all things, that it's only through him that any of these dreams and goals could ever come true. And that's something that God has shown me over the years, and so it's why I'm able to take on big projects. And it's also why and I'm not saying this in a boastful way, because it's really his grace and his power and his peace that keeps me strong through the wilderness times. But God has always given me huge, impossible projects that on my own resources and talents, it would be impossible. I mean, God picks the nobodies, and certainly I'm a nobody. I'm not the elite. I'm really, part of the working middle class or the achievement class, and we're not who the world looks to. We're, if you look at small businesses, it's usually they're usually founded by people just like me, nobodies. But here's something I know: it's my responsibility to understand what full stack is and become it. It's my responsibility to go to God and ask him through his grace and power and authority to bulletproof my faith so I can go after these big dreams and goals that he gives me. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to be writing an article, shooting a couple more videos about that this week. There's a lot of you out there, and I know because I've talked to you, and God has given you amazing dreams and amazing goals, and they haven't happened as soon as you would like them to happen, and you've run across all kinds of roadblocks and giants and Goliaths that mock you and block your path. And there's some people that you've told and they're sitting and going, just like Abraham, when God told Abraham he was going to be the father of all nations, or when God told Joseph what he was going to do with him, he got mocked. Jesus even got mocked when he came on the earth scene and declared who he was and what he was out to do. He got mocked, and he didn't not just get mocked, people got mad. They don't just mock you, they get mad at you. How dare you, somebody, a nobody, attempt to achieve these great things? And that's exactly what they did with Jesus. They said, look, nothing good comes from Nazareth. Are you kidding me? You're the Messiah, and they crucified him for that. Even when he was raised from the dead, still many don't believe. That's how it goes. So many of you, God has he's planted a dream inside you. You're pioneers. You've taken on the assignment, and for quite a while, you have stood strong in faith and stayed strong in hope. But you become discouraged because you're wondering, did I hear God right? Maybe I didn't hear God right. Maybe, and you're contemplating giving up. You're thinking, without a miracle, this would never be possible. Well, guess what? You're right. without a miracle from God, it's not possible. None of God's plans and purposes for us they all require the supernatural, his miracles. He partners with us, but through him and in him we have authority. We have authority to bind, we have authority to loose, big authority, but we are empty without God. So what I would tell you is, and encourage you, the wind's picking up here. The wind's never good. The wind's never good for sound. But I think you could hear me okay. I got a good mic here. Don't give up. Stay tuned. I've got some things I'm writing for you and a couple videos I'm putting together. And the moment is just about here. I mean, it is just about here. So get ready to cross over, conquer some giants. Let's use our power and authority to command these giants, these Goliaths, to move out of our way, to go throw themselves into the sea. And just like in Mark 11, 22, 23, 24 says, when we pray, we've got to believe that we have received. So when you're telling that giant to move, when you're telling that Goliath to move, do it with confidence. And you don't have to do it in confidence in yourself. Do it in confidence with the Spirit of God who lives inside you. So that's Gerald Duran out in the desert, risking my life. I'm looking around to see if any rattlesnakes have snuck up. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't like getting on these little paths. It's a nice, cool day, so maybe they're not out. But every day on our Nextdoor app or on Facebook, I see people posting all these pictures with the rattlesnakes they found in their backyards and all that. And yeah, I guess they rarely bite anybody, but man, I'm not taking any chances out here. So you guys have a great week. Look forward to some of the calls I will have with you guys this week. And remember, my job is to equip you, and the job of Canada Global is to equip you for the God assignments, whether you're an entrepreneur or a dream chaser. And dream chaser is just the word that we use for somebody who has entrepreneurial thinking but isn't necessarily like a business owner. And we want to support both of you. If you haven't checked out our His Plan, My Plan journey, it's on our website, Cana.global, and then obviously our Full Stack Entrepreneur Program. One is set for entrepreneurs and the other for dream chasers. Both include the purpose journey, and the Full Stack Entrepreneur includes all the ingredients of being full stack. So guys, have a great week, and I'll see you later in the community. Gerald Duran with Cana Global, checking out.